I'm going to be showing you part 2 of my massive book haul. Crazily enough, today, one of my favorite bookstores was running a 40% off sale. I went and got more books. This stint of my book haul, part 2, is going to cover my classics and vintage books that I've picked up. Starting with the book that I received in the mail maybe sometime this week, and this is, I don't know how to pronounce this title. I think it's Sigrid Undset by Kristen Lavenstrader. This is a huge book. So what drew me to this book was someone that I follow or listen to their podcast called Simply Convivial. She was referencing one of the characters in this book and just sharing about some of her character art. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. To be honest with you, I don't know a lot about it. This is a book by Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings called The Sojourner. I picked this book up at San Marco Books in Florida. Look at just the end cover of this. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. So Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings also wrote The Yearling, and that is a classic. So this one just looked excellent. I remember picking it up. In her first novel in more than 10 years, Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings, whose earlier The Yearling has taken its place as a classic in our Native American literature, tells the story of a good man, of the influence of his steady, quiet strength upon others, more especially the members of his immediate family, and of what these in turn, characters less strong and less stable than himself, do to him throughout the course of a long life. This one is called The Wanderer by Fritz Leiber. This was a gorgeous fantasy vintage copy, and I just bought the book just for the cover. I have been slowly collecting a lot of vintage sci-fi books, and I stand corrected, because at the beginning of my channel, which was not even that long ago at this point, like 3.5 months ago, I think I had mentioned that I didn't like vintage books or something along those lines, and I just want to retract that. Do I still love new books? Yes. And would I say that I love vintage books as much as new books? It's up there. There are many stories of unexplained phenomena that begin with a moonlit face at a diamond-paned window, or the baying of a hound in the darkest hours of the night. That is such a beautiful, synopsis, just opening line. And I think that's all I'll read of that one, because what more do you need? This one was in not good condition. I don't want to know what these stains are, okay? I got this book at Pretty Good Books in Georgia. This is by S.L. Stiebel. The only reason that I bought this book was because it has an afterword by Ray Bradbury. So this is about a ship. This takes place at sea. The main character, Jason Melman, embarks on a voyage of personal and spiritual discovery. It begins in earnest when, during a blizzard which fatally disrupts the sea hunt, Jason encounters a beautiful ethereal woman who may or may not truly exist. Insisting that this phantom has saved his life, he is relieved of command of the Silerin by his strangely hostile chief mate, Tor, and learns that his own father was brought back to the ship in chains, raving mad by the same man's orders. Okay. Next, I picked up Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. I love these Penguin classics. I just love them. Next one, this was actually at my library for like a quarter, and it is The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury. I really love Ray Bradbury's writing. I read Fahrenheit 451 in high school, and then I remember reading a short story of his in college and really liked it. Was always very drawn to his writing. I picked up this book by Jessamine West called Except for Me and Thee, and this is a companion to The Friendly Persuasion. I have never heard of this author, never heard of this book, but it looked wintry and snowy, and it was vintage and beautiful. This seems like it's going to be sort of a story that's like about mundane everyday life. I'm just excited about reading this when it's cold outside, so I probably will pick this one up either in January. I'm gonna be reading a lot of snowy books in January, so I'm wanting to read in 2025. I have read The Nine Tailors by Dorothy Sayers, but I want to read more of her works. And so I picked up Whose Body, and this is number 1 in the Lord Peter Wimsey mysteries. Next, I picked up Moby Dick or the Whale by Herman Melville. I got this one at Books A Million one day, and I have heard some mixed reviews about this book, and I'm afraid to read it, let's be honest with you. I love this copy so much. It's beautiful. I got a book that is just absolutely stunning. I love the way that this looks. And this is called Dark Trees in the Wind, Carl Carmer, Carmer. This is the line that convinced me to buy this book. It says, I said, "You've got quite a farm here. It's good land," he said. "It lies nice to the morning sun." That's it. That one little line there just sold me on it. First one is by Orson Scott Card. This is called Treason. I just love Orson Scott Card, and I've not read him in a really long time. I also picked up Ender's Game. This is another copy of Ender's Game. I'm actually gifting one of my copies of Ender's Game to a friend who also loved the book, and I didn't know that she did, and so I'm gifting that to her for her birthday. I wanted to get another copy that was not sentimental to me to read through again, because I want to read through the whole Ender's Quartet next year. Then I got The Longest Journey by E.M. Forster. I have never read anything by E.M. Forster. The blurb on the back says, "Of Forster's 5 novels, The Longest Journey is perhaps the most brilliant, the most dramatic, and the most passionate." So, I loved the copy of this as well. Next, I got Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. This is an Oxford World's Classics edition as well, and so I just absolutely loved that. And I plan to read some Austen next year. The next one I got is Charles Dickens by Catherine Peters. This is a biography, and this series is called Pocket Biographies, and so there are additional ones as well that you can see. Oop, I didn't mean to crack the book. This is just a biography on Charles Dickens. I finished reading A Christmas Carol last month, and so I would really like to learn more about him. And I picked up The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope. This seemed to be in like really good condition. The person that owned this, you can tell, was red, but just took really good care of it. And so I've heard so many good things about Anthony Trollope. I have never read any of his books before. This is a massive book. I really would like to get to one of his this year. Next one I picked up was Howard's End by E.M. Forster. It says Howard's End is the last and best of the 4 novels of E.M. Forster published before World War I. So I'm gonna have to now find the first 3. But it's fine. This is a great deal, great copy. So not sad about that. Next, I got Bleak House by Charles Dickens, and I wanted to get a copy of this book that was really broken in, because in order for me to be able to finish this book, I'm going to need to take it everywhere, and I'm going to need to not be worried about it getting ruined. Next, I picked up Meeting God at Every Turn by Catherine Marshall. This was, I thought, a really good book to like throw in my purse and read periodically. It's kind of like, it looks like devotional entries, and so I feel like this will be easy to get through if I just have it around, and it's small and compact, and I can just read it whenever. Next, I love St. Augustine. I love Confessions. I have not read the whole book, but I've read a lot of it for seminary, and then just when I was in high school as well, I used his work a lot in some of my senior thesis writing, and have just really loved the Confessions of St. Augustine. So I got another copy of this one. My husband saw this one and pulled it out, and it was 90 cents, and it was technically 40% off of that, so that was just, you know, a no-brainer. Then I got Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, and I actually may probably start with this one with my Jane Austen reading for next year, because it's small, and I just hear people love this book, and I just loved the cover of this too. It is so gorgeous and simple but elegant, and I love that one. Then I got Jane Austen by Peter Lightheart. This is a biography of her, and this is from Christian Encounters. This I guess it's a series that Thomas Nelson does with some notable figures like Winston Churchill, Isaac Newton, John Bunyan, Anne Bradstreet, Tolkien. All those people have had biographies written about them. Then I got another Catherine Marshall, and I loved the cover of this book. This was, I think, a library discard, maybe? No, it doesn't say actually. But This is called Beyond Ourselves by Catherine Marshall, and it says this is a woman's pilgrimage in faith. So I have accumulated a lot of Catherine Marshall books like Christy, this one, and then the other one I have is called A Closer Walk. I really want to get to some of her stuff this year. Then I picked up a cute little copy of Heidi, and I just loved this beautiful little copy of this book, and also loved how large the font is as well. The Christian in Complete Armor by William Gurnall, and this is a devotional style of this book. So this is a series that is not necessary, it's not a devotional, it's written in book form. This is a Christian nonfiction, and the guy that wrote this, William Gurnall, was a Puritan, I believe. 1655. So yes, my husband has read one of these and really enjoyed it. And so I'm gonna probably start this tonight and just flip to, because it has dates, it has, you know, dated entries, and just flip to the most current date and then start it over again at the new year. That's it. That's my vintage and classics section of this book haul, and I still have like 2 more sections to film. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, I cannot believe I forgot to show y'all these because this was our favorite find of the trip. I found Out of the Silent Planet by C.S. Lewis in these gorgeous editions. These were published in the 70s. Oh, they're so gorgeous. They were a like crazy good deal. This is Paralandra. I cannot deal. And then That Hideous Strength. Anyways,